Every day, about 800 million vehicles consume 7 billion liters of fuel. Keeping gas stations around the world full of this flammable liquid is a complex and dangerous task. Have you ever wondered how gasoline is made? Come to the United States, to Texas, to discover how gasoline is made from crude oil. This is one of the world's most powerful centers, where the U.S. oil industry began in 1894. However, it wasn't until 1901 that the oil industry really took off, when a drilling company unexpectedly tripled U.S. oil production. Since then, more than 60 billion barrels of oil have been extracted from the Texas ground. If the oil companies are right, there are still about 10 billion barrels left to be extracted. Oil is not only the primary fuel for cars, but also provides up to 50% of the energy needed for everyday life. In addition, petrochemical derivatives are the basic raw materials for many familiar products, such as plastics, asphalt, tires, cosmetics, and pharmaceuticals. The black, sticky, foul-smelling liquid they seek is crude oil, the raw material for gasoline. It lies deep underground. Tens of millions of years ago, small plants and marine life died, fell to the seafloor, and were buried under sediment. Over millions of years, under the influence of heat and pressure, they were transformed into an extremely important energy source, crude oil, also known as black gold. Crude oil smells like rotten eggs, but it also smells like money, lots of money. On a hot, humid morning in Texas, all drillers get to work. They dig a new well every month on average, with more than 2,000 new wells produced each year. Texas produces more than 900,000 barrels of crude oil a day, and companies like Occidental Petroleum can drill a new well every day. Underground oil deposits are identified using seismic technology, and drilling sites are selected. But even with the help of technology, oil exploration remains a difficult task. After drilling a well, the crude oil is sent to a refinery, where it is processed into gasoline, diesel, aviation fuel, and other products. But finding and extracting the oil from the ground is only half the battle. In an area called the Thermal Basin, crude oil lies for 1,000 meters deep, trapped in rocks that are 540 to million years old. To reach the oil, engineers use giant engines and diamond drills to drill into the ground. Friction creates extreme heat, so pressurized water is constantly pumped in to cool the drill bit and push debris to the surface as drilling mud. The work is noisy and dangerous. The pressure on the drill must be precisely regulated to low, and the rock cannot be cut through. Too high and the drill bit can break, leading to a risk of explosion due to escaping gas. As the drill is carried out, the crew must continually replenish the drill pipe using a 5-ton automatic machine drilling at a rate of about 5 meters per hour. This arduous process is repeated continuously, 24 hours a day. If you're lucky, natural pressure will push oil through tiny holes in the drill pipe to the surface. However, this pressure doesn't last forever, so deep wells need to use piston pumps to keep bringing oil to the surface. The rotation of the flywheel creates a vertical motion, like a giant syringe sucking the crude oil to the surface. From each well, crude oil flows through a system of pipes, converging at a main pipe that leads to a tank that removes gases and liquids containing carbon dioxide. From here, crude oil will be processed and refined to become the fuel that is important for everyday life. Carbon, hydrogen sulfide, and natural gas must be mined. These bombs are used to collect Texas black gold, but the oil fields are far from where the crude is needed, so a series of pumps funnel the oil into pipelines that make the 1,000-mile trip to its destination. It is the largest refinery in the United States, with more than 8,000 kilometers of metal piping covering 10 square kilometers, and the plant can refine more than 562,000 barrels of crude oil per day. The noise is so loud that the plant's 4,000 workers use more than 1 million ear protectors each year. The site is so large that it not only processes Texas crude, but also refines crude from around the world. Crude oil contains a mixture of hydrocarbons, each with a different number of carbon atoms. These hydrocarbons have different densities, the lightest being propane, while the heavier is used to make asphalt. The equipment removes and processes the hydrogen sulfide, turning it into sulfur that a local farm buys to use as fertilizer. After heating the crude oil to more than 370 degrees, it is pumped into the base of the tower and steam rises as if from boiling water. As it cools, the molecules condense first, with the heavier bitumen sinking to the bottom and the lighter molecules like gasoline and kerosene continuing to rise until they condense and can be siphoned off. From every 191 barrels of crude oil, they extract 88 liters of gasoline, 48 liters of diesel, about 26 liters of kerosene, nearly 7 liters of propane, and 32 liters of other products like lubricants and plastics. The plant produces enough gasoline for a car to make 770 trips around the moon, with the fuel tested in an old engine to check its detonation. Detonation occurs inside the engine when the fuel spontaneously ignites when compressed in the engine's cylinders. The lab can then go back to the data from the refinery to correct for errors in the mixture and make sure it's perfect. It's time to open some valves to let the gasoline flow through underground pipes until it reaches nearby stations. From there, it's transferred to giant tankers. Filling a tanker is more dangerous than filling a car. Not filling or not unloading can lead to a serious explosion. The metal body can create sparks due to static electricity, so the first thing it does is run a ground cable and set off the overload protection sensors. The second line, called the vapor recovery line, captures the escaping vapors to prevent them from escaping into the atmosphere. Every day, about 4 million liters of gasoline are transported to gas stations. After filling up the giant tanks, the gasoline is ready for consumption. And think about how expensive gasoline is. Every time you fill up your tank, don't forget that behind it is a complex system and the tireless efforts of all producers. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.